Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto. Hope you're having a good one. So the Fed rates are unchanged. That's a good thing, right? Do the morning routine. But you guys might as well come along with me. The Fed rates being unchanged is a good thing. It should not have been a surprise. We knew it was coming. All good. What should we be doing now? We should be looking for other catalysts in the market that could actually move us up or down, because now the Fed rates are going to be unchanged at least until November. So it's not a long time, but it's a good period of time, right? So start paying close attention to what's going on in the news. Or, in Apple's case, start paying attention to what's not going on. So remember, Apple had their Apple Card, and it was in a joint venture with Goldman Sachs. And then Goldman Sachs said, "Yeah, we kind of don't like this. We want out." That was back in July, right? We should have realized then that probably wasn't the only thing that was on the table. We should have realized that there was probably a few things that were on the table. One of them apparently was the idea of a trading app. So imagine what that would have brought on. But obviously, that deal didn't go through, so certain plans were laid to waste, and that was one of them. Now, PayPal is very interesting. For the record, yes, I did have a consulting assignment at PayPal for a period involving what? Will not say, but I was there. Good company, good people. But PayPal owns Venmo. They own several peer to peer applications. It should be no surprise that PayPal is rolling out their new stablecoin on Venmo. That's going to have one hell of an effect on adoption. Because what they're saying is you can flip our stablecoin as easily as you can flip fiat. And if you look at that, that's very similar to Cash App, right? With the whole Bitcoin thing. I'm thinking that, they're waking up to a lot of different ideas and they have a lot of things on the table. And I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. Now I want to pay attention to, you know, would I, from an investment perspective, would I invest in PayPal? And I haven't answered that question yet. I do like some of the moves that they're doing, though. I'll tell you that. Attorney John Deaton, love this guy. Love this guy. He's saying, listen, there's a lot more going on with the case that the SEC has brought against Custodia Bank. And here's the main reason. Custodia Bank represents an on-ramp and off-ramp for fiat to and from crypto. Now, if the SEC were to win this, it would basically close off a lot of on-ramps and off-ramps, because that would be the message. And we don't want that. So we should be paying attention to this, and we should definitely be involved, because there are two ways that I could see it going if the SEC were to win. Your only way to on-ramp, off-ramp would be via institutions, right? Or get out of the country. Do your transactions overseas. The other way, and that would mean that, if your only path is the institutions, kind of makes sense that he's not really going after institutions, right? Or he's going after retail investors first, and then he'll go after institutions. I find that hard to believe, because institutions have a lot of money and they can actually fight. So that I don't think that would bode well for him. Hence, he's going after everything that would hamper the retail investor from doing this. And I have a problem with that. So yeah, that is a case that I will be paying attention to. Something else that really caught my attention is an article in Forbes. And it pointed out that Tether has basically acquired 20% of Northern Data. If you do not know who Northern Data is, they are a German Bitcoin mining company. And in a very convoluted deal, very multinational deal, apparently there was about $420 million worth of GPUs that were built using an Irish shell company for Northern Digital, right? And the plan is to offer those GPUs to startups. Obviously, put them in the space, rack them up, and turn them on, and offer that power, that computing power, to startups. That's a very big deal. The article went on to point out the various controversies that either company has gone through, things like that. And we all know that I am not a fan of Justin Sun. Don't know the man. Just don't like some of the things that he's been alleged to have done, business wise. But this is a smart business move. This is a very smart business move, especially for Tether, right? For both companies, actually. For Tether, it could be, and this is just an idea. They could use that money, the proceeds from, to ramp up their reserves, to keep their reserves at a point. That can be a very big deal. For Northern Data, they get to get into a new line of business or expand their line of business without having to expend any money. That's not bad for either company. I'm just wondering how the two controversial companies come together and how that's going to play out over time. And that's what we'll have to pay attention to. Something else that I'm really, really interested in. This one I'm interested in. Microsoft is planning to have crypto support built into their machines. Now, I'm not paid by Microsoft. I will say that my company is a Microsoft partner, but I really like the Surface products. I still have, as a matter of fact, it's right here. I still have the first Surface. This is the first Microsoft Surface product, and it runs like a champ. Love that thing. And I use it in other spaces as well, or I use other products as well. So it's very interesting to me that they're planning on having that kind of support, or they're making plans to have that kind of support. That would be huge. That would be absolutely huge, because they've already got biometrics built into their machines. Their machines really are secure. You can do a lot with a Microsoft product. So to me, it would be a very big deal. I know this is a big wish, but imagine having that in the palm of your hand. So is that going to drive Microsoft to make, a handheld version of their products, or is it going to force other companies to do that and have the same level of support? From a computer perspective, from a personal computing perspective, I think it's a very big deal that they're going to be planning that. And if they roll it out, yep, I'll be lining up to get my upgrade. Right now, I'm pretty happy with my computer. I have a Surface Book 3. It's the last Surface Book they made. They moved everything over to another version of Surface. But I love this machine. Take the monitor off, turns into a tablet. It's awesome. But all of those things put together, you start to realize that there are a lot of things that are going on in the market. And sometimes you have to pay attention to what's not going on in the market, right? Like Apple and Goldman Sachs plans or scrapped to create a trading app. Now that would have been huge, because that would have been Apple being involved in a trading app. Adoption would have been instantaneous, right? So I pay attention to what happens and what doesn't happen. Somebody had asked me what sources I use when I do my research. I use all kinds of sources. It can be a tiny little magazine that nobody's ever heard about, but the article gets corroborated by another article, or they point me to another article, whatever it is. But I use various sources, but I always find corroborating articles about it. And the reason why I do that is because different writers, as well as I like to compare to make sure it's not a press release kind of article. Anyway, we should get into the numbers. All right, the fear and greed index is at 47. So we've been in a range of 45 to 47 over the past few days. Look at that. They give it to you right there. I pay attention to the fear and greed index because sometimes you want to buy when there's fear and sell when there's greed. So I do pay attention to that. DeFi Llama, we had hit above 50 million, 50 billion. Sorry, I always do that. $50 billion in total value locked. We're down just a hair at 49.5. So, we're battling. We're moving laterally, but with the Fed out of the way, now I'm starting to look at what are other catalysts that can bump us up. So that's something that I'm paying attention to. You can see the numbers right now. We're a little bit below the 27,000 mark. We're at 26,844. Something I'm not happy about because you can see where we were before. We hit as high as 27.5, right? And now here we are at 26,844, diving toward the bottom part of my green band, which is 26,475. That's not where I want to be. I want to see us go back up. We have a lot of reason to go up. All that news that I just gave you are reasons for the market to go up. So we should be paying attention to that. If you look at the big board, you can see, Ethereum is down below 1650 at 1613. Bitcoin, like I said, 26,865 is below where I want everything to be. However, that small pullback, it is a small pullback, tiny itty bitty, buying opportunities for me. I don't see a time right now where it's not a buying opportunity. So I pay attention. And then if you look at the numbers side by side, you can definitely see, things are, again, still moving laterally, still very much moving laterally. You know what I did hear about is VeChain just did here we are. VeChain just launched their new wallet called VWorld, and that's going to be a very big deal for them. Just because of how they're moving, what they could be doing. VeChain is well off their mark, but year to date, they're still up 8.73%. I want you to think about that. They're doing better than any bank's interest rate. Just putting that out there for you. So I do pay attention to these things. Polygon also finished their dragon fruit upgrade, and that's a step toward 2.0. So I'm liking what they're doing as well. Anyway, that's where we are today. If you like what I'm doing, drop me a note. I really appreciate it. It puts wind in my sails. If in case you haven't noticed, there has been a slight name change. We're rebranding from Eddie J on Crypto to Grow My Bag. I am still Eddie J on Crypto, but we are coming close to launching Grow My Bag. It's going to be a space where you can enjoy conversations around all things investment and business management. We'll bring you more as we have more. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.